Okie day. Looks like audio should be working. We should be live.
Am I good?
You should be good. I think you're good.
You. I can hear you.
Cool. This is going to be a very interesting show. We were at Disney filming late last night. Then I've been at work all day. So I am drained beyond belief. And it's been a busy last few days.
It's been a busy weekend.
To catch you all up, Thursday, Jamie and his brother drove in. Then we had a rehearsal that night for a wedding. Then Friday, we had more wedding preparation and then escaped and played some board games for a little bit just to clear heads.
Yeah.
Saturday, we had a wedding at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Saturday night, we were at the movies doing watching Lilo and Stitch, which we're reviewing today. Sunday, we were at the Angels D23 day.
And then Downtown Disney.
Then yesterday, from rope drop to closing, we were at Disneyland.
We left 20 minutes early. We left the structure at midnight.
We were rope drop to closing. We just make it simpler. I'm tired. This is I was working on trying to get the edit live for the members today. That did not happen. So members video will go live ideally tomorrow if I don't pass out. I might pass out. But it will go live. It will go live to the regular public though, regular audience on Friday. But whenever it does go live, it'll go out to members, first access. Plus lots of other videos and a fun little TikTok that we're gonna do for Bailey because we can.
Bailey needs it.
But before we jump into the review for Lilo and Stitch, we are going to go and do the regular pop culture jungle-ish. It's going to be a shorter show. Obviously, Jamie's in the studio. Justin's not joining us, as far as I know, unless he randomly decides to jump in because it's Justin.
He doesn't like hanging out with me. It's okay.
He is on his honeymoon at the moment in Vegas, so it is understandable.
I'm just making up excuses for him because I can.
I know
he's not here to defend himself.
But in fact, I didn't even pull articles. I did a quick search while we were right here getting things prepped. I couldn't find anything, but Jamie found a couple, so we're gonna touch into Jamie's articles. And then
I couldn't find a lot either.
Yeah, there wasn't much this week.
But that's life. Sometimes you have 9-hour episodes. Other times it's 2 articles.
God, I hope I never have a 9-hour episode. Though, talking about a 9-hour episode, we are going to have a very long stream coming up next Thursday where we are going to be playing with the Switch 2 and comparing it to the Switch and the Xbox Series X. So there will be a stream on Wednesday night of me unboxing it and just going through the very early initial setup. We'll see how much I can get of good footage of that. And then Thursday at about 8, I'll be going live. 8 a.m.
Pacific time. Gotta help out.
Yeah, I gotta help. I'm trying. We're working our way through. My mind is moving very slow at the moment, but we will be doing that
next
Thursday, playing games like Fortnite because we can do direct comparisons easily there. Taking a look, I believe I have Cyberpunk's the complete edition ordered for the Switch 2.
Oh wow.
Take a look at that. We have we'll be getting the update for a lot of the games that just got announced of updates because I have most of those. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it was worth the money. It probably is. It looks like a beautiful console. I still like my Switch, so I was taking a nap. Well, congrats, Justin. Welcome to the chat.
We're jealous of you being able to nap.
I am extremely jealous of you being able to nap right now. Ugh. But jumping into the articles, we need to do a Pokemon 1-to-1.
comparison on
We
the Switch
could
too.
do. You have a copy. You have a physical copy of Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, yeah? That's the last two that came out.
That's
Yeah,
the last that came out.
That's
I
the
don't
last
have
two.
one.
I know.
Parker has one.
I know. I have a physical. I think Justin has a physical. If so, we can legitimately have them active at the same time and just switch screens back and forth.
So I forget. You're comparing Xbox,
The Switch and the Switch 2.
Why not PlayStation? Just curious.
Because I don't want to move the PS5 out of the other room.
Valid.
I have it wired up to the. You have both. Cool. So we'll need those so I can go and have both active at the same time, and grab like a exact screen back to forth, and we can jump shots on that.
That makes sense.
Ideally, you'll be off on next Thursday. If you are, and I could really use a man in the chair next Thursday.
I won't be here.
I know you won't be here. You will be in a completely different state. You're more than welcome to tune in, though, and give the viewership, but I know you will be in a completely different state.
And at work.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, big stretch. Oh. Actually, hold on. Go grab the other things. I did a thing yesterday, and I want to show it off. Too late, can't request it. Well, yes, but ideally you could be here for a part of the day.
Which one do you want first? This one?
You can put that one first, yeah. So yeah, I did a thing. I've seen the different art that you can order from Disney
that they draw there in the park for you,
and we actually caught footage, which will be in the vlog, a little bit of them doing one of these pieces. Look at that. That is fantastic work. He's going to be framed here in the studio. There we go. That's a good shot of it.
Yeah, it is.
Oh. That's Sora, obviously. And then you can't have Sora if you don't have the King. Look at that. I think the King is my favorite out of the two of them.
Yeah. The only thing I think that you'd like better if he was in Sorcerer Mickey outfit with a Keyblade.
Absolutely not. How dare you go ahead and disrespect the King's outfit? I am a Sorcerer Mickey fan, but you do not mix the two. No.
I'll do it just for you.
Okay. There we go. I just wanted to show those off. I might bring them actually here. Originally this is where Misty going, but maybe that's where those going. I gotta figure that out.
You still got time.
I still got time. Okay.
Even though Justin's not here, I gotta say it for him.
So, coming from Fox Business of all places,
Sarah Benzino.
Disney.
Brandon Foley.
It's easier for families with new ways to escape the heat. Walt Disney World's Cool Kids Summer happening now through September 1st.
You know, like stadiums do. Kids are so expensive these days.
Oasis Breeze.
The busy travel season when most kids are out of school brings some harsh weather for the Central Florida parks. Where the sweltering temperatures, yes. In response, Disney has introduced the Cool Kids Summer. Each of the 4 parks has its own guide map to lead families to attractions. You just jumped on me.
With the good
Experiences
princesses and all that,
such as strollers.
they wouldn't have a great story if it wasn't for the bad guy or bad gal. So it's their time. With so many other franchises, it just seems.
Let's fix this for the future. Also, hold on. Just gonna go. There. All fixed.
Thank you for letting us know that the video was playing audio.
Now, straightforward. This just sounds like they made a map at the start of this, but I'm going to get into.
There is some more to it, but basically, yes, they made a map.
One of the most notable offerings is the Goofy Core, which I did hear about this inside Epcot's Communicore Hall, a limited time air-conditioned play area. There's a DJ. Hey, the wedding hall is being used for more than just a wedding hall at this point. It's not a wedding hall, but it looks like a wedding hall. There, a DJ will be playing music, and little ones can play interactive games.
You want to know what it sounds like to me? In California Adventure, the Disney Junior Dance Party.
Yeah, but at least that's a theater, and that's at least kind of a show.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new Community Core Hall?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Thanks. That is the greatest link for what the hell Community Core Hall is.
Isn't this such a great response to Epic Universe?
Oh, I mean, this is gonna win hands down.
A map and some air conditioning. You know what? Air conditioning goes a long way, though.
Okay. We got to start it right. Give me a second. Give me a second. We're gonna go there. We're gonna go there. So. Oh, it's small. This is the concept art for what Community Core Hall would be. Okay, during like the art during the animation or the art exhibit.
Cool concept.
Yeah. We're happy with that. We're happy with that. Ah, I hit the wrong button. You can really tell I'm tired and all sorts of wrong things, especially when criticizing people. There we go. That's what we got. It's a wedding hall.
It's totally a wedding hall. Or like a high school lunchroom.
The people called it the college cafeteria.
Yes. You got your flags for the different. Yeah. It's totally a college cafeteria.
The empty room. The empty room. But yes, so now instead of it being an empty room,
instead of the college cafeteria, it's the college daycare.
And this one doesn't have any image of it. Was it Instagram?
I don't know.
I think it was X. Hold on. X. Disney. It was Goofy Core?
Yeah.
We can use WSN's view. That doesn't show the video though. Hold on. Actually, we'll grab Drew Smith's because he's the one who shared the video again, and I don't feel like digging any further for it. So, this is Drew Smith. He shared the video, kind of giving an idea of some of the things going on.
You want to know what I'm just talking about?
We'll go up. DSNY shared. So
there's the stage.
That's yeah. Like at least there's something in the room. It's still an empty room, but at least there's something.
There's room for parents to sit down and their kids to get the wiggles out.
Yeah,
is really what it comes down to.
We also have Disney Villains. Will be starting up this summer. We did get a preview of that. We can actually look into too.
See, my article had lots of weird stuff that it connected into somehow. Don't ask me how I did that, because I don't know.
I'm trying to find one that I don't mind borrowing. Laughing Place shared the entire video of it. Don't want to show the entire video of it. That's them working on the stage. Well, I guess we're going to use a little bit of Laughing Places. Because Laughing Place at least shares everything. So
it looks cool. It looks cool.
That's not even the right speakers. That should be on. it's not just a fiction show.
But true. Excuse me.
It's a very cheap show.
Why, it's like money in the bank. Come on, join up, and I'll be frank. Unless you walk the plank.
What went wrong? What went wrong with this like costume design?
I don't know. I can't put my head on my
Woohoo! We can run away from
the alligator croc. No, it has to
I'm
be the
merely
exact
here
same,
to
but it isn't.
propose that I am the most misunderstood of
It was
all.
done on a budget.
Haven't you ever been forgotten? Left off the list? Omitted?
So what show is this?
This is a new show that they just came out with. Disney Villains. I don't know what is the actual name of it. Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After. They're trying to convince that they're the most unfairly treated one of them all. It's a very weak premise of an idea.
It honestly seems like they took World of Color Happiness and went the opposite direction.
Who's most misunderstood of all?
Most misunderstood of all.
The one thing I have to say about it, especially after our long day at the park yesterday, 18 minutes in air conditioning sounds fantastic.
Yes. Yes. The other piece that they bring up is The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure. Will be showing again, or is showing again, over at the Hollywood Studios Theater. This is a show they had for years. It's just a Broadway version, a shortened down Broadway version of The Little Mermaid. It was popular. They took it away because of COVID. They didn't want to bring back the exact same show, quote unquote. So they made minor adjustments, and it's a brand new show.
Quick question.
Yes.
It's basically what was in the theater, and like that type of Broadway show where they did like Frozen or Aladdin in like an hour.
Yeah. I think it's like 45 minutes.
What theaters am I thinking of? This in California Adventure.
The Hyperion.
Hyperion. Thank you. Words are hard today.
Yes, Jamie. But yeah, that's cool.
It's better than an empty hall. Get in the air conditioning for a little bit.
The Goofy core is a good idea. I will give them that. That's what, as far as all that goes.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of that was just, we could reuse a space that we already have, trying to make.
I know,
something.
you take Muppets from there, over there, and put them over there.
We've said this. They said no. They'd rather just get rid of the Muppets and. Yeah. Anywho.
I tried.
You tried. KTLA 5. Disneyland honors sailors, Marines with special day ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. So this would have been on Friday. It was. This is part of Fleet Week. Fleet Week they do every year, where they invite the current sailors and servicemen in the area down for a day at Disney, or for a couple days at Disney, invite their families and such. It's always a cool experience. Disney's tradition of honoring military services spans more than a century, dating back to the founders Walt and Roy Disney, both World War I veterans.
I didn't realize they were both World War I veterans.
Walt, I believe, was in the Peace Corps, but yes, that because he was too young to be in World War I.
Mm-hmm. It was cool. I just thought it was fun tying into what we saw yesterday at River.
Yeah. So the other one is, in addition to the special park visit, Disneyland is also honoring service members with the missing hero table displayed during Memorial Day weekend at Disneyland Resort, Walt Disney World, and Aulani. These empty tables set in remembrance of fallen service members serve as a reminder of the sacrifices made in the defense of the nation. We saw them. I don't have a photo ready for this right now, but I can find. I know. I saw it posted real fast.
Again, I just think it's a cool little tribute they do. It's something that they don't have to do. It's not hard, but they still take the time to do it anyways. And I know for a lot of people that means a lot.
Yeah. No, it was very. Here we go. This is a new. We use this one. There we go. That's a good picture of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just a nice little table. So this one's a very much underset table. That's the one at Starbucks. Ours had like the full like
Plates.
cutlery and everything, but it's the story, the tribute of the fallen soldier.
It explains the significance of everything. Why there's lemon slices on a plate. Why the cup's upside down. The flags. The rose. The lit candle.
Yeah, it was a very nice little. Oh, we're not even showing it. There it is. Yeah, you see too.
That's helpful.
It was a very nice little display.
I respected it. It's for me. It's sometimes the little things that have a big impact. This is something that they don't have to do. That they took the time to set up, and I believe it was most restaurants had that.
Yes, because we saw it back at Plaza Garden. We saw it at over there at the Tomorrowland Terrace. It was set up everywhere.
Yeah.
Which, cool deal. I'm all for it. Now, before we get to the review of Lilo and Stitch, we're going to talk the numbers. Because we've had a very interesting set of numbers for those last few weeks.
It means we get to talk about Justin's favorite thing, Snow White.
We do get to talk about Snow White. In fact, we will start there because we'll remind ourselves, with the movie still technically in theaters, because it's in some theaters, how well this movie is doing. It is domestically 87 million, internationally 118 million, for a worldwide box office of 205. For a reminder, the production budget was 269. I think we said it was probably I think we just gave it 300 million. We know there was reshoots and such,
But to make easy math.
It made easy math. So 300 million, 150 million, but
50.
meaning it would need to make at least. We'll make it even easier on it. We're going to take away the marketing budget. There was no marketing budget. It did that well. So 600 million. It's still not going to be anywhere close to that number. So.
No, it made about a third of that number.
Yeah. Thunderbolts.
Which I still need to go see.
Thunderbolts is currently domestically 174, international 182 for a 357 total. It is performing towards the bottom of its spectrum, but it is still in line. On that one, that production budget was 180. That'd be an extra 90.
Which is 180, so that would put it at 270.
And then 270 times 2. It's in line. If it can continue the run it should break even and make a little bit of money, which is where Justin and I said we thought it was going to drop in at. So that's doing good.
Again, there's people like me who's like, I still want to go see it.
Yeah.
I've just been very busy the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's like this. I mean, this last week on it, it's still placing fourth, and it placed fourth all weekend long. So
that's not bad considering some
there
of the
was
big movies that
two
have come
brand
out.
new movies this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then one of our new movies for the week, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, domestically only 80 million for the weekend.
Wow.
It's only been out for a couple days. Internationally, 127 million, so 206, meaning it has beaten already Snow White
in what is it? 4 days?
4 days. It is performing better than what they projected.
Much better, it looks like.
Production budget of 400 million. I don't know if they went over.
So that's double it is 8, right? Or is it half? So it's 600.
So we know. I don't know what their marketing budget is on this one, and a lot of the marketing they did was all repeat shots. By what y'all were saying.
Yeah.
So let's give it 500 million. Half of all well, meaning we needed to double at that point. So it needs to make $1 billion if that's the case to make a profit.
And it's a fifth of the way there in 4 days.
Yeah, but I don't think based on the way the other Final Fantasies,
Mission Impossible.
thank you, the Final Reckoning has gone. I don't think it's going to be able to do it. But this was the like closing of it, so that maybe they just gave it a big budget and were willing to take the risk on it.
Yeah.
Because it was Paramount, which is weird that Paramount gave it such a big budget because they've been a lot more scaled back lately. But it opened up competing directly against a family movie, which is the movie we will be talking about, Lilo and Stitch.
And I think they were hoping to draw more and more to this.
Because Lilo and Stitch domestically was 182 million so far, internationally 178 million for a worldwide of 361.
Which beats Thunderbolts in 4 days.
It beats Thunderbolts. It beats Mission Impossible. It ate Lilo and it ate Snow White.
Snow White.
And its marketing budget was budget for the film was 100 million. So again, if that's the case, normally it's half the budget. You know what? You could even go bigger, but let's go half the budget. So 150 million, meaning it needed to make 300 million to make profit. It's profitable already in 4 days. That's what a movie should do.
300. It's made 61,000 or so 30,000 for the
61 million.
No, 61 million. Numbers are hard, okay? I'm used to that being decimal points. I don't deal with big numbers.
So, yeah, that's gonna do it's doing pretty good. When we look at its line graph,
it is a straight line.
Basically, it's performing very well. It's only losing about 12 to 15%. So, like 13.5% on a day over. But that's not bad. That's not a bad scale. We'll see it jump again on Friday.
It will jump again on weekends, but I feel like it's going to drop quickly too.
We'll see. Because it is performing well. It's critically, I believe it's being reviewed well. Well, it was being reviewed okay. Audience wise, I believe it's being reviewed well. Yeah. So critically, it's sitting at 69% on Rotten Tomatoes. Beat whatever you wish of that. Audience wise, though, it's a 93%.
Which is interesting because I've heard a lot of backlash on the movie.
They're
mad about like 3 decisions that were made.
Yeah.
But you're never gonna get everyone happy. Never.
Yeah. With that being said, that's a good segue to it. What's your thoughts of the movie?
I enjoyed it. Personally, I'm okay with the changes they made. I get why people are mad with the changes they made. To me, I can always go and watch the original and be perfectly happy with my life.
Yeah. We will be doing this section, trying at least to go ahead and stay initially spoiler free. If you watch the animated one, you know where the story is going to go because it does follow pretty close, but there are changes. And then I will give you a heads up when we'll switch to spoiler version of it, and we'll go from there.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yep, that's why I put that in there. Visually, this movie's stunning.
Absolutely.
This is some of the best CGI work Disney has done.
Yes.
The aliens all look believable. They all look real.
They look real, but they're still based off the animation.
Yes.
And I love that.
There are story elements that were changed that I am a little critical of. It does not hurt the film, but I don't understand why we made them.
I completely agree. Again, if I really want to watch it, I'll go. If I had the choice, I would probably watch the animated one over this one.
Agreed.
But I still enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not one who really goes back in the theater to watch a movie again. That's just who I am. But I'd turn it on again and watch it at some point, which is a lot better than some of the other movies that have come out recently.
This is, in my opinion, by far the best live action we've had. It does feel cheap But again, it was, as far as we were told, it was supposed to originally be a Disney Plus movie, not a dedicated
Theatrical.
actual theatrical release.
I still really love Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast is good. Again, my biggest gripe with Beauty and the Beast is I hear all the time a lot of auto-tune.
And I don't have that background. So I thoroughly enjoy it. I get where you're coming from, and
Yeah.
I understand that. Those are two of my favorite. This and Beauty and the Beast are my favorite live actions.
Well, yes.
That being said, I think I like the live action Beauty and the Beast better than Lilo and Stitch, because if I had the choice between the live action and animated of both, I'd watch the live action Beauty and the Beast because I liked it better, and I liked the animated Lilo and Stitch better.
Okay.
So that's my reasoning for it.
Yeah. For us to finish out the non-spoiler section, we'll just go a recommendation or non-recommendation. Recommendation, C or no C?
Absolutely, go see.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one to go pay, be willing to pay for. If you're at one of the areas that Snow White's still in theaters, don't.
Go see Lilo and Stitch instead.
Go see Lilo and Stitch. Our theater was full.
Yeah, it was.
It was person to person. That's bizarro. I haven't seen a theater that full in a long time.
Same.
So that was impressive. Now we're gonna switch into a little bit of spoilers.
Do we rate it now or do we rate it after?
We rate it after.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yep, that's where the recommendation is. If they take the recommendation, if they want this regular score, they go all the way through, or you'd skip to the end. I mean, I can't stop you.
You do you.
You do you. I'm gonna start it off. My biggest gripe, and I've already told you this, we've already had a discussion, is they try to make Nani into this big, like, superwoman, is how I'm gonna word that.
Mm-hmm.
When straightforward she already was.
Yes.
And it takes away from in my opinion, from her character. Because straightforward, they took a movie where she was a strong character who was willing to do anything and go as far as she needed to protect and take care of her sister. To at the first opportunity she got, she gave up her sister to go to college.
I can see that view. I have a different perspective on it.
Absolutely.
And we're each entitled to that.
Absolutely.
Where I thought you were going with it at first, was the rescue.
I mean, that's all
Yeah.
part of it too.
That was not necessary at all. It doesn't make sense.
So if you have not seen it, we get this scene earlier during Hawaiian roller coaster ride, just like in the animated. Jumba and Pleakley try to go ahead and snatch Stitch. They all fall in the water. Stitch, of course, because of how heavy he is, starts to pull Lilo down.
David is able.
Actually, we're going to get into a little part here, and I didn't think this was going to happen. This is not a political channel. We do not push either side of things, but this is kind of funny now that I pieced it together right now. So, in the animated version, Lilo, they fall in. David dives down after Nani has kicked Stitch to save Stitch
Or
because
save Lilo.
no, he saves Stitch because Nani saves Lilo.
Yeah, but Nani kicks Stitch to save Lilo. Yes,
Yes,
because when you're drowning, you need to separate people so that they don't bring them down.
yes, and that is the end of any of these kind of scenes. In this version, it happens again. Nani kicks Stitch. Nani saves Lilo. David dives down and saves Stitch. Well, at the end of the movie, Lilo and Stitch fall in the water again. Stitch lets Lilo go to save her. Nani dives down, saves Lilo, gets Lilo to David, then goes back down to save Stitch, but can't swim up with Stitch because of how heavy he is. I feel like, in the nicest way, there's a certain group that have been making it clear that men are just built differently for like sports and such. Is this just showing that?
You know what? I'm staying out of that.
I'm sorry, I'm tired, so I'm making bad.
No, we aren't going that far. We're stopping it there.
Yes, but I'm just like, that looks bad. Like, I'm not saying that it needed to be in there. it looks bad. It makes it look that way. That's not what they're trying to do.
I think it's just if you're hypercritical analyzing everything, you get that. I don't think it was intended because you learn throughout the movie Nani could have gone pro surfer.
Yes.
She was training for that.
Yes.
She is in shape. She can do, and David just feels like a more casual surfer.
Yeah.
Like maybe did some competition, but way more casual. So like she should be stronger than him in that case.
No, absolutely.
Especially with the adrenaline running through her body.
Correct. It's why, again, I'm not getting into any of that side of things. It's just that's if you are more shut mind about it, that's how it kind of looks. It doesn't look good. Nani in the animated is so strong for everything she does.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, it looks more like she's looking for like she doesn't want to lose her sister, but she still doesn't want to give up on her own thing, which she shouldn't have to. But at the same time, in the animated, it's not that she gives up on it. She finds something better to do, and that is to raise and take care of her sister. You never see in the animated series that follows, the movies that follow, her ever have any problem. The biggest problem she has is just Lilo being Lilo. Like,
and the chaos Stitch can cause, and Bleakley and Jumba not knowing human culture.
Yeah.
Which is a full-time job in and of itself.
Yeah. That bugged me. To me, that hurt Nani's character.
Absolutely.
Gantu removal, your thought?
With how quickly they blew through the beginning of the movie that sets up a lot of it to get into what people wanted, and I understand why they did that. It cut all of Gantu, which means you couldn't introduce him, which I don't like. I think you needed Gantu. And we talked about it later on the drive back, which we can bring up later, about how this affects the rest of the story. I don't see how it wouldn't have been that hard to add him in.
Well, and that's the thing. So I did find an article about this. It was one of the interviews with the director, and in an earlier cut of the movie they had Gantu in it. He just personally did not like the way the movie was looking. He felt Gantu was more of a tool in it, and so he chose to cut Gantu and rechange the third act.
I have a question. In an animated movie,
yes,
aren't all characters tools to get you to the end point?
Absolutely. All in any story, a character, all they are is a tool.
Yes,
it is a storytelling tool, and so I don't see why this was a problem. Why we had to remove him? He works as such a good counterpoint to Stitch, because he is just strictly during the first movie following straightforward orders. He does not care about anybody besides the Grand Councilwoman's item. He was
told to do.
He does not care if Lilo gets taken and, frankly enough, dies. He's like, oh, she's a snack. There you go. Congrats. Because
you have a plate. You have a toy.
Like, Gantu is a good villain character.
Because he's not, especially in this one, he's not trying to be a bad guy. We just view him that way from everything we've seen.
Correct.
He's just trying to do his job.
Correct.
A lot like Cobra Bubbles, how, especially in the first and second act, he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Jumba being the bad guy, I feel is forced. Like, even in the first one, the whole time, whenever he's talking about Stitch, it's never, like, against Stitch, like the animated one. He's always just very proud of what Stitch is getting to do.
Look at what I've created.
Correct. And in this case, it's just, I'm going to get rid of you so I can get a better one. And
I can get what I want.
Which the animated series and the animation makes it clear, Jumba actually cares about the different experiments. He worked on them for a reason. Like, he was building weapons, yes, but he actually does like them. Where this one was just like, you're just
they're a stepping stone to
my greatness.
Yes.
And that bugged me.
My biggest issue with Jumba was when he was in the alien form, the voice didn't match, and it threw me off every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, like if they wanted him to sound that way while he was in human form, then
It
fine,
worked.
I'd be okay with
Human
that.
Fine worked. It worked fine in human
He
form.
sounded like the average white guy in the corner.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't match. There's
You're
something,
a big alien and you sound like the average white guy in the corner.
my mind just had a disconnect. I'm like, this is weird. What's going on? It shouldn't be this way.
Yeah.
And that's an artistic choice. I'm good with that. I personally didn't like it.
Legally. Voice actor.
Phenomenal. I understand why he couldn't go full drag. I still did like the homage to it.
Yes.
Is the best way I can put it. The best comparison is like, for me, that I can think of off the top of my head, is Harry Potter. How wizards don't understand the culture. It's the same thing.
Yep.
And they're wearing the wrong thing, and it's like, okay. And like, especially in today's world, it's like, that's acceptable. It's weird, but acceptable. No one's gonna call them out on it.
Yeah, the directing on him, his mannerisms, everything, like it felt real. He felt like a good, well thought out character.
With that, while we're talking about that side of things, Jumba, what I liked is that he stayed in the same clothes throughout the entire thing. Every time he morphed, where Pete Leakley would change and like was trying to experience everything human.
Yes.
I loved that addition to it.
Yeah.
Where before it's like you see Jumba in all the different outfits as well. He kind of gets into it. This time I liked the difference.
Yeah.
For how they changed the storyline, it fit. I'm not saying I liked that. I liked how it worked.
The changes to Cobra Bubbles. So in this case, he is just CIA. He is not a social worker. He goes undercover as a social worker, but he is just straightforward CIA going after Stitch.
I think so we're just talking about that aspect of things. Not that he wasn't a big black man.
Yeah, no, we're not. We're talking about the character build, like not the character look and style, because character styles from animation to live action can change.
It started off great. I was good with it until we got to the end. You can trust me. I work for the government.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So in the animated version, when the decision about leaving Stitch here and not getting out and such comes up, Cobra Bubbles goes ahead and convinces,
talks to the Grand Councilwoman. It's like, wait, I know you. It was
it goes through and brings up the legality first off of the adoption papers, and brings up about how aliens are always all for the rules, and how this family now is currently under the protection of the United States government. And that's when she brings up, oh wait, I know you. And he comes from brings up Roswell. When she walks away, he tells everybody that he is the designer of the quote unquote mosquitoes are the endangered species, and they're using Earth to repopulate it. And it makes sense why they more have this mutual trust and understanding, because they've dealt with each other before.
Worked together.
In this case, it was legitimately just, I'm from the government. You can trust me. Like, that was the definition of trust me, bro.
It really was. I think if they would have just added that, which honestly would have taken 30 seconds, if that, I would have been fine with everything with Cobra Bubbles, because to me, it makes more sense that he comes in as the supervisor to like help try and figure out what's going on, because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out that it leads him this way. It flushes out Cobra Bubbles' character better than why is the CIA agent working there? Where the parents spy? Like, it just, you go down rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Where this one, it logically flows and makes more sense until the ending, and it ruins it.
Yeah, this was a change that I'm just like, why? Like, there's no sensible reason to it. You're already shooting the shot. You have to add what? A line?
And it ties in all the jokes of why it's endangered, why they can't just blow it up. It ties everything together, and you aren't going to do it.
Because now there's no reason why the alien species
axolotl can't blow up the Earth. My favorite character, by the way, the trigger happy axolotl.
Why does he exist? Why does he want mass murder?
These are questions we don't need answers to, and I'm okay with it.
Your score out of 5.
Honestly, 4.5.
Okay.
I understand why some of the changes and everything were made. I honestly think if they had better reasonings for going back really quick before I get into more, because in the animated movie, basically they get subsidized by the government to take care of Stitch and then eventually take care of all his cousins
Yes.
and figure it all out.
Yes.
That's basically Nani's job. She still has a day job as a cover type thing.
Yes.
So, and also she's just not sitting at home.
Yes.
She's there to babysit the aliens and Lilo, and it works out. In this one, with how you changed it, there's nothing like that.
Correct.
I'm okay with her going to the grandmotherly figure, who's a neighbor. Who it bugged me that they didn't call it her auntie because they should have, because they grew up with her.
Yeah.
She didn't go there. Someone who has more experience, so that Nani, because they did bring it up, she is this bright student and amazing surfer. She could do so much more if she had the opportunity, and that's what this person's pushing for. And how they brought it up, if it would have been presented more that way, where I'm going to take care of Lilo so that you can go do more, instead of it felt a little more forced the way they did it.
Correct.
I think I would have been more comfortable. I would have enjoyed it more. And then you make that change with Cobra Bubbles. Gantu, I'm 50-50 on. I would have definitely given it closer to a 5 if they made those two changes. Gantu probably would have definitely, or all three would have been a 5.
Before I go to my score, while you were going, I did think of a question I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
I don't know her name, but Leo's actress, her acting and portrayal throughout the movie.
10 out of 10.
Fantastic. Amazing. Perfect casting.
Yes.
Nani's casting.
I enjoyed it. I would say 9 out of 10. I don't know what you could have done better. Kids are hard,
Yes.
and I can give them a higher score because of that. Adults are also really hard for me to judge on. That's why I'm going 9 out of 10, because you probably could have done something. I don't know what that is.
Since you're going out of 10, I'll join you on the 9. And my reasoning is just because I think they could have typecasted a little bit better in the aspect of found somebody who looks a little bit more similar to Lilo.
Okay.
For them being sisters, they do have a bit of a difference of look. That they don't feel like they're from the same
like
family.
Cousins than siblings.
Yeah. But the portrayal of like the sister like relationship, the mom side of the relationship, the whole thing of it, besides the point when she's supposed to be singing, her singing wasn't necessarily the cleanest in that shot.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I blame audio work.
That's fine. I'll give that. I give her a 9 out of 10. She did great. Lilo, I think, was the biggest like standout actress in this one, besides Stitch's voice actor. But
which we already knew that
he created the character. He knows how to play the character.
He's done it for 25 years, basically.
So then my score, you're at a 4 out of 5. I'm actually at a 4. I was always back and forth between the 4 to 4 out of 5. I knew it did not go above that. I think it's just the story elements. There are a couple that
we've talked about.
We talked about they're kind of weak. And my biggest gripe is just hurting Nani's character.
Mm-hmm. I think they tried to emphasize that she's a big, strong, independent woman a little bit too much.
Yeah. Because again, she can be a strong, independent woman who's taking care of her sister.
Mm-hmm.
That's who she is in the first in the original.
And that's what I liked about that, I think it was in credit type scene where she's able to come back and visit. Again, where if they made it
that all I get why, but to me, that whole scene felt like, oh, we made her seem kind of unlikable by her just ditching her sister.
Cold-hearted. We have to add this in.
That felt really just forced.
I understand that. And again, why can't Cobra or their auntie know that she's coming to visit?
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been done better, but I like how it actually brought in, like, she still does care. She's a 19-year-old kid. Let's face it. She's a kid still too. And I liked how that all got brought up. I think it would have been better if that was more of an element that's like was brought in a little bit more throughout the movie, and then it wouldn't have felt as she's just giving her up to go to school. And Also, like if they did change the Cobra thing so that the government's helping them more, why can't she just go to school in state?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 'cause I think we see the packet once. What was it? CS, US?
San Diego.
Yeah.
Which, granted, is fairly close in the grand scheme of everything.
Is it really that good of a marine program, especially compared to the Hawaiian Islands, though?
I don't know.
That's my question. Like, not enough for me to actually use, AI or anything to look it up, but that is a question. Kevin Davis says Disney's going to move forward with more live action remakes with success of Lilo and Stitch. So we know that the Tangled and Hercules live actions were announced to be put on a indefinite hold. This was because of Snow White. We know Moana is still continuing forward. I think we're gonna finish Moana
and see where they are.
If Moana changes too much and it hurts this formula, that might be the end of it. If Moana goes like this and tries to go pretty close to the source material and it does very well, I can see them continuing them again.
I understand The Rock's kind of pushing for Moana, but I don't know what else there is to flush out.
Yeah, we've had a lot of it. We've had just a lot of Moana content, and I think that's what's going to hurt this. Is people are just like, the market still likes Moana, but it's going to be like, wow, how many more times can we show the same movie?
I think the best thing they could do for Moana, because they do have a lot already flushed out, and that's the thing they fixed with a lot of live actions, is they add a little bit of detail here and there that helps. Okay, yes, this is why this is happening. And they kind of did that with Lilo and Stitch. I felt like they changed stuff to meet their story and not to flesh out the world more.
Correct.
So it wasn't like a shot-for-shot remake. I get that. It's a different perspective. I wish they would have done the flesh-out version better.
Well, and that's where it's going to be interesting when we look at How to Train Your Dragon next month.
Yes.
Especially comparing that to its animated run and bringing inflation into consideration. I think that's going to... If that does very well, or even better than what it did before, I think that will show that a more shot-to-shot remake with fleshing out that world is the better route to go.
Which, granted, with How to Train Your Dragon, they've fleshed down a lot with other movies and everything else. They don't need to. Honestly, they could do a shot-for-shot remake because that's what people have wanted.
Yeah.
I have my thoughts on shot-for-shot remakes. I feel like a live action does, personally, this is my opinion, I think a shot for shot isn't the right way to go. I think your live actions should be some of these older movies that you can add a little bit more details here and there, kind of like they did with Beauty and the Beast, explaining why Belle's mom isn't there, the plague, just stuff like that. You're able to like add these little bit of details that, oh, this makes sense. There's an answer for this now that you didn't come out and specifically say it, but like it fleshes it out a little bit more, makes a little bit more sense.
Just don't go as far as changing the character like Snow White and making it that she recaptures her character.
I'm talking little changes, adding a little detail here, not big changes.
Yeah.
I personally like that better than shot for shot, but also I know there's a big community that just wants a live action shot for shot. How to Train Your Dragon.
Marvel Studios taking a year break from theaters is a good thing. They have nothing left to prove to nobody. Yes. So Doomsday was pushed back 9 months.
I'm good with that.
Marvel was slowing things down. They are going back on things. We do have still Fantastic Four coming out later this year. I think it absolutely is a good thing. I think that my problem is, my understanding is, I think they started work on Doomsday. So if they're pushing it back, means that it's extra time they have to pay staff, meaning that movie's probably going over budget.
Unless they're planning more post-production.
I mean, because again, but even in that case, it's still going to cause more money.
Yes.
Because you got to remember, with these contracts you sign up for, you usually sign for the full movie. Yeah. So they're signed on. You go back 9 months, you're paying them an extra 9 months. It's why Snow White ballooned so big was because it ran on for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing Marvel's taking a break.
Financially, it might hurt them a little bit.
I think straightforward, and I told this to Justin, I thought after Endgame, there should have been a year or two of a writing break.
Yes, absolutely.
Just stop, everybody sit down, let's get around the table, let's figure out where our story is going, and let's start building this world correctly. So on our first movie, it starts to build from there. Opposed to having so many different writing teams that were contradicting each other's
The one
writing.
one movie that I would say would be fun in coming out was the Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man was fine.
It was a good kind of like a wrap up. This is kind of what's happening. We're going to call it here. And then you could put a great end credit scene teasing kind of a little more what's coming.
Yeah.
Way better than you could put a longer one in there, like a 2 or 3 minute one. But, well, you take your break just to kind of keep the anticipation there. And then maybe do like a short or something like the Greats, something like that halfway through to keep the anticipation there. Or like every year or something, 8 months, something come out with something like that. That's short. Basically your in credit scene to help keep the anticipation there.
Yeah.
What's going on? Who's this? What's going? Yeah.
Well, so for like me, the one movie that in that first like time period besides Spider-Man that I felt was fine to come out was Black Widow. Because it does not affect the story. It's a prequel. I think that's the biggest thing that's hurt Marvel at this point is the whole writing. I mean, we did get to hear from Mr. Bob Iger himself during the last shareholder call that they discovered that quality is better than quantity. So, I mean,
I thought we knew this already.
Pretty much every average Joe knows this, but apparently the Disney company did not know this. I don't believe the rumors about Marvel Studios making appearance at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know. I can't speak in on that one. That'd be more from Justin question. Justin supposedly saw where the announcement came out from Marvel or whatnot that they were going to be doing their next phase announcements.
Again, I'm the Olympic guy. That's more Justin's alley.
I can't speak on that one. People in Hollywood rooting for James Gunn to get a win at the box office. No. Well, Hollywood might be. I'm rooting for James Gunn to get a win at box office because I want a good superhero movie.
I think we all are.
I just want a good superhero movie. That's where I'm at. Again, Thunderbolts was a good movie. I don't call it a superhero movie. Justin did agree. Check that review out if you want further into that.
I don't want spoilers.
That's why I worded it that way. Lilo and Stitch was a fun movie. It was actually an enjoyable movie. Yeah. I like to go to the movies and have a good time. It doesn't happen often, but it did happen
Going
in the past lot.
To Lilo and Stitch, one of the changes they made is Nani's having car troubles throughout the movie.
Yes.
And constantly needing to jump her car because she needs a new battery, but doesn't have the money to do it. And then when we're in spoilers again, when Stitch drowns and Nani rescues him, he's not breathing. They try a defibrillator basically, and it's not strong enough to get Stitch breathing. So they use jumper cables. And like I could tell like 10 seconds before what's happening, like, yes, this is awesome. But, like they did add some fun stuff to the movie. Again, we're just talking more on the negative things. But again, this is some of the higher reviews I know for the show that I know of for the show.
No, yeah.
So like it's still a phenomenal movie. Go see it. We have I have 3 big issues with the show. Otherwise, I absolutely loved it. I get why people are upset about the Ugly Duckling story not being included.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. It makes Stitch seem a little bit smarter, which he is an evil genius. He doesn't need I felt like he didn't need that in this, how they did it all.
So, I'm going to push back on that one. He is an evil genius. We know that. But we also know he's not trained or programmed with compassion.
Yes.
And so the Ugly Duckling story is kind of that connection of compassion that he realizes he's lost and he's missing something.
Yes.
And so that's where I'm pushing back. Like, no, it is a big character build for him. And it makes him even more of a depressing character at that moment, but it works so well for him.
It does. I understand. I would have been fine if it got left out if you hit some of these bigger ones. Again, I think a lot of people were expecting more of a shot-for-shot remake with Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that. We also, like I said, didn't get that like lore building as much.
Yeah.
And it made changes, and that's what people are mad about. I still love the movie.
No, yeah, it was so fun. I do believe Disney is still going to pick Dana Walden, even with Abu Dhabi Park announcement. I don't know. And the only reason I don't know is since Dana Walden's been up for this position for so long now, and we know Iger is retiring here next year, supposedly. I mean, this is like the 6th or 7th time he's supposedly retiring. I think we would have had the announcement, and I think we would have had it during the big shareholder call also. Either the second one when they knew they were going to be jumping it with Abu Dhabi, or the one before that, in order to show the change of the park. Since we haven't gotten the announcement for Walden, it may still happen. I'm not going to push back that it's not, but I feel like it would have been announced at one of those moments because you want to show that she is the forward-facing person of the company.
Yeah.
Since we haven't announced it, I think we're outsourcing and we're searching.
They might be searching, and she might be like, if we can't find anyone or no one else is as good as we want. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating.
Well, that's all I'm doing too. Universal Studios should have moved How to Train Your Dragon live action to a different date at the theaters. Families will see Lilo and Stitch at the theaters even into June. When is its release date? Let's see.
I'm guessing this summer.
It is. I'm just trying to look for the actual date. It is June 13th.
So like 3 weeks after Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, I just want to. Thank you, computer.
It's mad at you.
Can you give me a calendar? That's a calculator.
Got a calculator again. Let's look on my phone because I'll probably get it faster. It comes out what day?
I got it.
The 13th. Yeah, that's in 2 weeks. 3 weeks after Lilo and Stitch.
I'm going to push back on that.
I kind of have to agree with you. It needs to come out sooner rather than later to draw people away from it.
Yeah, so I think June 3rd. We said 13th and 12th.
Yeah.
June 13th. I think June 13th is actually a good date. It's far enough behind Lilo and Stitch that the majority of the families are going to rush to that will have already seen it. It's also far enough back that those families that did already see Lilo and Stitch will have the budget to go see another family movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's still right in line to compete with Lilo and Stitch.
It's still coming out in the summer, which is the right time for these movies to be coming out.
I think it's the right spot. Lilo and Stitch is still going to be pulling people, but that actually is not a bad thing for How to Train Your Dragon either. That's pulling more people to the theater.
Mm-hmm. Oh, mommy, I want to go see this movie. And especially in summer when you're looking for something to do.
Yeah. So I'm going to push back on that one. I think it's going to be good. I'm going to get caught in my own words here. I don't think it's going to have as successful of a 3-day opening as Lilo and Stitch did. I think Lilo and Stitch was just a shocker to everybody.
Mm-hmm. I think it also helped. Like, it got released at the right time, Memorial Day weekend. There hasn't really been, from what I can tell, a lot of really good movies in theaters recently. Yeah. It came out at the right time.
Yeah.
I think one thing that might have helped How to Train Your Dragons, which I get why, if Lilo and Stitch was announced first, it probably would have been better if they could have gotten How to Train Your Dragon out at the same time as the Epic Universe, kind of be promoting the two at the same time. But it would have been, I think, if Lilo and Stitch announced first, it's coming out this weekend, they probably pushed back a little bit so that there is that gap and they aren't just competing with each other.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't help them because they want the movie to be successful. And if you're fighting at the same time as another movie, it does not work out.
Yeah. Yeah, I concur. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. What's up? What's up?
I just want to know, do you know how on a printer can you mirror image something?
A regular printer?
Or do you have to do it from a copy machine?
Off the top of my head right now, I cannot think of one. Without doing it through software.
Okay. Alright. How's this?
A lot of fun.
Alright, bye!
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. I think they made the right call pushing it back a little bit. Again, I think the only thing that might have helped if they were able to open Epic Universe and have How to Train Your Dragon kind of come out at the same time, cross-promoting both of those at the same time, but also maybe waiting a little bit will drive more people there. I don't know. I don't do this type of thing for a living. I work in a museum. I deal with old things, not new things.
Do you think Universal Studios cap the audience at Epic Universe or tickets aren't selling strong? Okay. I think it's a combination. So, we're going to go to the aren't selling strong side first.
Can I ask a question really quick?
Yes.
This again isn't, you do way more into this than I do.
Mhm.
So I just have a random question from what I thought was going on. I thought you had to buy like a week-long ticket.
You did. That
And-
changed.
Okay.
So, where Jamie's asking initially what it was, we had no evidence of any single day tickets. Everything we had been announced from Universal was you had to buy a week-long stay on property and you could get 1 day ticket to the park.
Uh-huh.
That changed somewhere along the way towards the end here.
I don't think that was selling as well.
I don't think it was selling as well. I think that hurt it. Second thing, going to aren't selling as well. If we go back and we look at history, I like this is where we step into my realm of such.
Mhm.
And we look at a theme park that was guaranteed to not fail and was going to be so overly successful that they were telling people to not come, which was the opening of Euro Disneyland, now Disneyland Paris. It, because of how overly popular they made it clear in the marketing that this park was going to be, it was not. But of what they were saying, people did not come the first season.
Because I don't want to go when it's busy. I can wait.
Is the other side of that. I do think there is a cap on attendance because one of the articles I did see at one point was they were limiting it down because initially they weren't going to be selling the Express Pass. They are.
What's the Express Pass?
Express Pass is their version of Lightning Lane,
Thank you.
except for just faster than Lightning Lane. But that initially wasn't going to be sold. Now they are. So I think it was a lot of back and forth in the operational team and the marketing team of how to do it. Because the goal was, we already know this, to take the week visitors away from Walt Disney World and take them to Universal. And again, force it, they cannot go just to Epic Universe, but they have to go to the other parks. The goal then shifted to, we want to make sure we have a busy days at the park, but not too busy, so everybody that comes has a great experience. Then it started to shift to, well, we do want to fill the park, and this park costs a lot of money. We know the hype is already there, so we want to sell more tickets.
I honestly think what happened is there's people like me who still think you needed to buy a week-long stay to go,
I think so.
and that hasn't been corrected.
I think so. I think that's the biggest problem because it's not really the easiest thing to even see. You can buy single day tickets unless you are going and trying on your own, anyways.
And not a lot of people go and try to do something without actually going forward
Yeah.
with it.
I figured it out because we were going to go out there, so I looked it up. I was working on doing the research, and I kind of research this stuff on a regular.
There's a reason I ask you when I have questions.
I think that's a combination of it all. I think also what's hurting is it is a new park, so everybody's expecting, like on a cruise ship or like a hotel, you're going to have growing pains on the first, few months. It opened up again right before the summer. So we have this time period where people are still graduating or still in school.
Yeah.
I think what we better tell will be
Give it a month or
give it a
and
month.
half.
We'll see what the locals are doing. The tourists would have already been booking.
Yes.
Most tourists don't book a trip that far in a week. That's very uncommon. I think the other side of it is just we're seeing too many people on social media who are coming out and talking about all the bad of the park from the previews. It was a preview.
And this is my one thing to say to that is, again, we were just talking about Lilo and Stitch. We brought up what we saw as flaws. We didn't talk too much about them. It's easy to talk about, I didn't like this, this, and this. I still loved it, but positives are easy to skip over.
Yes.
And people, you start watching, it's like, oh, this doesn't sound that good anymore. I don't know if I want to go do this, because we just don't focus on the positives.
Yeah. Well, and again, like them, showing there was the one day that straightforward, most of the attractions didn't open. It was a bad rainy day. Most of the attractions didn't open that day. I'm sorry, I'm in California, so now I got to wonder, was it they didn't want to damage anything before the park opened, so they didn't run it in the rain? Was it can't run in the rain? If so, that's a really bad situation for Florida. Kind of rains there almost every day of the year. I think that's what's hurting it. I think we'll see it pick up again here in a month or two. We'll start seeing some more of the locals who didn't buy the single ticket, the preview tickets. It's also, and this is the biggest kicker for Universal. It is their most expensive park out there, and it's actually about, if I'm remembering right, $30 more, $40 more than going to Magic Kingdom, which is Disney's most expensive park.
My also thought on this is, if I wasn't as good of friends with you, I would have thought, especially in today's day and age, with all the influencers getting to go, I'm like, oh, it's open now.
Yeah.
And it looks crowded, it looks busy. Personally, if I wasn't already planning a trip to Florida in November, I'm like, oh, I can wait a little bit longer before I'm gonna go. We'll let the growing pains, let the hype die down, and then I'll go. But I'm already going out there, so I might as well go.
Yeah.
Like, if I'd be fine waiting a little bit longer. I'm excited to go. I would be excited to go in 2-3 years when I eventually made it out that way.
Yeah.
But I honestly, if I hadn't been talking about these things here, I wouldn't have known that it wasn't already opened. Especially with all the influencers, to me that feels more like they got lucky, were able to get in. Either like, I thought opening was sooner, I thought they were good. It's also been a long time for me since they've opened a theme park around me.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Is this is a brand new, the first brand new theme park since '98?
It's not a new land; it's a whole new park.
I don't think another theme park has opened since then. I could be wrong, but is my understanding, Animal Kingdom was the last one, which would have been '98.
And like,
well, no, I am wrong. California Adventure opened in 2001.
I was 6. I don't know anything of what happened really then, to be honest, especially in that realm of things.
Yeah.
I was 6.
2001? I'm pretty sure it's 2001.
I was 5 or 6, depending on when in the year it was. So, like, I just don't know what it was like then. You have much more experience and knowledge on that than I do.
Universal Studios giving the public early access a month before the grand opening isn't helping the situation. I'm back and forth on that.
You need to do it. You need people there.
Well, okay. Not necessarily.
Okay.
So, the biggest thing is, again, we haven't done a park opening for a long time, but the biggest thing is we need time to stress the rides. You can do that with people. You can do that with water buckets. You can do that with team members, which is what they were doing. The problem was team members' friends who were coming with them were not necessarily friends. Some were just influencers who were using their advantage to go and get in. Others were friends, but they were still breaking and violating rules by posting photos. That didn't help. The way you get around it is either okay, fine, we're going to sell preview tickets, which they sold for more than a regular day ticket. Those were very expensive tickets. Or you go back to just using water buckets. The water buckets, the great thing about them, you can control it all, but it doesn't show how the attendance flow is, and I think that's what they were trying to watch for.
You
Was the influx of where traffic was going to move.
I think you needed people. It honestly should have been, and this is where it gets hard because it gets more expensive. Is you can't have your phone out, but people use. We still want you to take pictures. You just can't share anything until this point. It just gets really complicated really fast.
Yeah.
And you're always going to have people who don't listen. There's going to be something like someone's going to save it and you can't scrub it all.
I think the biggest problem, straightforward, you need to have big e-ticket rides. I think we started with too many over-the-top engineered rides. Because, again, one of the biggest rides that's causing some of the biggest social media issues is the Harry Potter ride. It is one of the most technologically advanced attractions in the world. It also has some of the most sensors on it that, again, we now have full confirmation. Team members are telling everybody to make sure your butt and feet stay planted the whole time, because if it comes off, it will stop the ride.
I also remember when Rise of the Resistance first opened. It had so many issues. Because again, at the time, it was one of the most technologically advanced rides in the world. There's going to be problems with that anywhere.
Yes.
I just think opening an entire new park that way is extremely challenging.
Well, I think that's why like Isle of Berg has been doing so well, is for the most part, but again, besides the day that everything was closed, there's not really been a problem. The biggest problem is them just trying to get fire the water ride
I don't know.
Fire Academy, something like that, under control, because they were trying to figure out how much water was too much water to hit the guests with.
That's fair.
And it's that back and forth adjustment. But that's what you need the previews for. That is what a preview is meant to be. Straightforward California Adventure should have gone through a preview and such. It did not. It only had the media preview for the week, which was only newscasters, because again, that was 2001-ish. They then found out over the next 4 months that they made a mistake and nobody was coming to their theme park. There was I still remember there was a newscast, okay?
Uh-huh.
It came out, I think it was 8 months after the park opened. And the newscaster was like, this is amazing. It's almost like nobody's here. You'd legitimately walk on anything because the park was that deserted as a brand new park.
Mm-hmm. I think, really quick, while we're talking about this again, I have no background on this. I don't know how if this would even feasibly work. I think if you're opening a park, you need to build it from front to back. This way you can open up a section, do previews on it. As the construction is working on something else, get it like 90% of the way there. And Disneyland, say, hey, annual pass holders, we need your help. We want to make sure this is going to work. And you can give us your opinion, your thoughts. Have people fill out surveys. Basically, put out everywhere. This is a preview. We are testing it. Get it out there so that everyone knows. If you're you're coming in with the camera. If you're coming in to do this, I need you to say in your video at some point that we're still testing it out. Things will probably change based on your opinions.
Keep chatting, I'll be back.
But if you go through and do it that way, you talk to the people, kind of like what they've done with some movies. Sonic's a great example. Let the audience know. Let them get an opinion. Let them get their opinions out there and share, so that this way you don't have these problems where no one's showing up for 8 months because they don't like it, because you didn't do these previews. You didn't talk to the people you're trying to target. You need to talk to your target audience is my big thing. I'm just kind of rambling right now. I don't know what else to say. I'm normally not left alone in these situations, and this is why. But yeah, you need to be able to talk to people. But if you built a park front to back and got things 90% of the way done, there's still going to be surprises that you can bring out at the end. But you can test rides, make sure that they're going to work out. And I understand things happen last minute. World events happen last minute that you have to change for. A great example is Lilo and Stitch. They were going to have the plane spaceship chase, and Jumbo was going to steal a plane, and then 9/11 happened. You can't do that through a big city. You can't have a plane fly and crash into things after 9/11. You just couldn't. So they changed it. Things are going to happen last minute, and you might have to change something. But as long as you keep the bare bones there, I think it can work out better. I really don't know. I have a hard time talking to just the camera. It's easier to talk to people. But yeah. You made it. I was just saying, basically, do a preview, get things 90% of the way there of the land. So California Adventure, you would open up. Main Street works. You don't really need to do a lot there.
Yeah.
You have Main Street, and then you would do the Hollywood studio sides of things. And if you did this, say, because this was the first one, it probably would have been 2 or 3 years before the rest of the park opened. You did a preview of that for a little bit, got people's opinion, and what's the ride that was
Superstar Limo.
Superstar Limo. Great ride. It worked out. And then Princess Diana died in car chase. You're going to have to retheme that. I'm sorry. It's the way things are. And that's why it got rethemed. But you could make it work better.
Not really, but yeah, okay.
You could make... But there's sometimes you have to make changes. I brought up Lilo and Stitch and the plane chase.
So the reason I got to push back, the Superstar Limo, the attraction they wanted to build, never got built. That was the retheme of the attraction that got built. It did not. I will tell you, it was a great attraction because I think it was great. It was not a good attraction. Please understand this.
Yeah,
it is the most guest rating of the park. I believe went up by 12 points when they closed the attraction. It was more successful of a park without the ride open. So please understand that.
Yeah, no, but
I'm the crazy person that liked it.
But what I'm saying is open sections, do a preview of that section, and if it's 90% of the way done, you can still have hidden magic that comes out for the actual release.
But the problem with that would never work.
How come?
Why am I, no matter who I am, no matter how much money I have, why am I going to pay for a ground clearing company to come through 6 times, then a concrete company to come through 6 separate times, then an electrical company to come through 6 separate times, and I've got to open the other areas anyways, else I'm going to have to reopen that middle section continuously to rerun new plumbing and electrical or a new sewage. It could never work. It's a great concept of a thought, but it could never actually feasibly happen from the construction side alone.
You just hire them as your own employees, so they're just always on staff. Problem solved.
You still got to order the trucks and such, and concrete prices change on a daily basis.
You buy your own concrete truck.
Just buy every company out there, dude.
Buy in bulk. You got plenty of places to store.
Anywho, you made this part of the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Lilo and Stitch is cool.
Yeah.
Until next time. See you
guys.
later.